Good morning, everyone. I am Sai Ganesh. My roll number is 191994. My presentation topic is thermal power plant. Let's know what is the basics of thermal power plant. A thermal power plant converts the heat energy into an electrical energy. When the coal is burnt in the boiler, the stream, the steam coming from the water turns the turbine, which is a mechanical power that later on converts into electrical energy through the generator coupled through the turbine. These thermal power plants contribute the maximum power to the country, any country. Thermal power plants constitute of 75.43% of total installed capacity and non-capacitive power generation in India. In thermal generating stations, coal, oil, natural gas, etc. are the employed as per primary sources. And the basic energy conversion process involved in these thermal power plants is the fuel, which is a chemical energy, later on converted into thermal energy through combustion in boiler, and later on this thermal energy is then converted into mechanical energy through the turbine rotation, and that mechanical energy through turbine rotation is then later on converted into electrical energy using a generator which is coupled through to that turbine. And the basic working principle is, firstly, the water is taken into the boiler from the source, and the boiler is heated with the help of coal. The coal is also first powdered and then it is used for heating. And the increase in temperature helps in the transformation of water into steam. The steam generated in the boiler is sent to the steam turbine, and the turbine has blades that rotate with high velocity stream flow across them. And this rotation of turbine blades is used to generate electricity. The generator is connected to the steam turbine. When the turbine turns, the electricity is generated and given as output by the generator, and which is then supplied to the consumers through high voltage power lines. And here you can see the basic steps through the images. First, the water is taken from the source and then it is boiled in the boiler, and then the hot steam is sent through the turbine, and then due to the rotation of the turbine, the mechanical energy is converted into electrical energy through the generator, and that generated electricity is then supplied to the high voltage electrical lines. And the heat, the hot air or the steam, then it is condensed in the condenser, and for this a lot amount of water is also required, which is then taken by the nearby water sources. And the main equipments in this are a coal handling plant. Coal is transported to power station by rail or road and stored in a coal storage plant and then polarized. This polarized means this makes that hard rocks of coal into powder. The function of coal handling plant is automatic feeding of coal to the boiler furnace, and then the thermal power plant burns enormous amount of coal, and nearly 200 megawatts plant may require around 2000 of coal daily. And pulverizing plant too. In modern thermal power plant, coal is pulverized, that is ground to dust or like size and carried to the furnace in a stream of hot air. Pulverized is a means of exposing a large surface area of the action of oxygen and consequently helping combustion. Pulverizing process consists of three stages, that is feeding, drying and grinding. Then comes the boiler. The function of boiler is to generate steam at desired pressure and temperature by transferring heat produced by burning of fuel in a furnace to change water into steam. Turbine and thermal power plants, generally three turbines are used to increase the efficiency: high pressure turbine, intermediate pressure turbine and low pressure turbine. And then comes the condenser. As I said before, the surface condenser is a shell and here tube heat exchanger where cooling water flows through tubes and exhaust steam fed into the shell grounds and the tubes as the steam condenses outside the tubes. And then cooling towers and ponds. A condenser needs huge quantity of water to condense the steam because it will be in the highest temperature, nearly about 500 Celsius, and most power plants are cooled cooling system where warm water coming from condenser is cooled and reused. The cooling tower is a steel or concrete hyperbolic structure with the height of 150 meters and feed water heater. Feed water heating improves overall plant efficiency. Thermal stresses due to cold water entering the boiled drum are avoided. Quality of steam produced by the boiler is increased, and the economizer, this is also used fuel gases coming out of the boiler carry a lot of heat. An economizer extracts this heat from flue gases and uses it for heating feed water, saving coal consumption and high boiler efficiency. Air preheater. The function of air preheaters is to preheat the air before entering to the furnace by utilizing some of the energy left in the flue gases before exhausting them to the atmosphere. After flue gases leave economizer, some further heat can be extracted from them and used to heat incoming heat. Cooling of flue gases by 20 degrees centigrade increases the plant efficiency by 1%. And then the waste generated and their control. Ash handling plant and water handling plant, these two plants are used to control the waste generated through the plant. Ash handling plant, the ash from the boiler is collected into two forms: bottom ash slurry, it means it is like of clay type. It's a waste which is dumped into ash pond. And fly ash is separated from flue gases. And water handling plant, water in a power plant is used for production of steam for rotating turbine, cooling purpose for cooling the various equipment as it is running in a high temperature. And water is recycled and used for various purposes like raw water for cooling purposes, steam condenser raw water, and about 4 cubic water is lost per day, or we can also say for 1 megawatt 4 cubic meter water is being wasted. And here you can see the basic diagram of a power plant, thermal power plant, and you can see the parts are also given here. Thermal power plant, in you can see coal conveyor, stoker, pulverizer, boiler, coal ash, air preheater, electrostatic precipitator, smokestack, turbine, condenser, transformers, cooling towers, generators, high voltage power lines. And now let's see the advantages and disadvantages. Advantages of this power plant is the fuel is used in quite cheap and less initial cost as compared to the generating stations, and it can be installed at any place irrespective of existence of coal. The coal can be transported easily by the plants through the plant to the plants by rails or roads. And disadvantages are it pollutes the atmosphere during the producing large amount of smoke and fumes. And then higher maintenance cost and operational cost, huge requirement of water. These are the disadvantages of this plant. And you can also observe that there will be different types of power plants like thermal power plants only, which are being run by water basis, coal basis, and some through other types of light basis also, solar basis also. And this is up to my topic. I am covering only up to the coal and water, and this is up to my side. And thank you very much for giving this opportunity, and I am going to end this. Thank you.